So here we're at the end. What have we learned? What do I want you to take away from this? One, anytime somebody talks about something being ahistorical, being beyond time, being perennial, being a truth that is a continuation of everything from wherever since the dawn of time, question that, because there is a history to all of these arguments. All arguments and all religious doctrines have histories, recognize them, and resist anytime somebody says this is the inherent eternal truth for all time. Freemasonry is at the root of other secret societies. Anytime you have a system that has initiation, including the Golden Dawn, the OTO, the Ordo Templaris Orientis, and Wicca witchcraft of the Gardnerians that do initiations, as opposed to eclectic neo-paganism that doesn't have initiations. We'll talk about that later. They are rooted primarily in or inspired by Freemasonry, whether they know it or not. High and low magic is kind of a false distinction, but it's useful. It's useful to think about ceremonial magic versus, say, folk magic. I contacted a prominent authority on ceremonial magic about a book I was writing on folk religion, and we had this conversation because I'm like, I'm talking to you because I like you and I enjoy your company, but I don't know if your research connects to this in any way. And he kind of said to me, he's like, yeah, I study ceremonial magic. This was always, wealthy bohemians or bourgeois people that are inherently involved in handing down traditions that are codified and organized. It's not folk. It's almost the opposite of folk religion, even though they might argue that they're doing something similar to folk religion. They're really not. The very structure of ceremonial magic is not like folk magic or high and low magic, as I would say. Now, high magic in the 19th century developed into the magical systems of the 20th century. Most of the lore that we see in the practices and rituals today by magicians doing any type of magic, really, we can see the germ of those ideas in this 19th century ceremonial magic or high magic. Finally, cunning folk and charmers are echoes of past folk practices. They are not evidence that modern witchcraft has been going on since the dawn of time. Modern witches may do some things that they pick up from older folk practices, but that does not make them identical to the cunning folk or the charmers. More likely, the tradition of cunning folk does persist, but you would find it in the fields of alternative medicine, not in Wicca witchcraft. But if you go and talk about people doing reflexology and herbalism or whatnot, that's the continuation of the folklore and folk practices amongst the cunning folk and the charmers. Okay, thanks a lot. There was a lot today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.